Indo-German Chamber of Commerce, we take pride in the fact that we have celebrated our 65th birthday and anniversary this year. So also that means that we've been involved and we've been a major stakeholder in Indo-German relationships for almost the same duration of time. In addition, and I think we can build on this strong relationship, we see a lot of initiatives to further strengthen the relationships. Obviously, as you probably have heard, the German government has issued Indo-Pacific guidelines about a year ago, a little over a year ago, and that should focus and stress the fact that we will be taking a broader look at the region, and of course India will play a major role in this. In the Indo-Pacific guidelines and the measures that will be taken. Obviously, there was a decision by the EU and India to start negotiations on a free trade and investment agreement, and of course we all hope that this will materialize soon. It's been a while since the kickoff decision has been made. We have not seen too much of speed in the negotiations or start of the negotiations, and we hope, of course, that this will change soon. In addition, the Indian government has also, and of course many state governments, and this is why we are here in Hyderabad in Telangana today, also many state governments have started and have continued to provide incentives and measures to attract foreign investment into the country. And in light of the fact that many companies are reviewing their supply chains to get more robust, more resilient, to have alternative sourcing, alternative capacities, that is also a fact that will and may lead to additional investment in Hyderabad in Telangana. And this is the purpose of our event today. We wanted to take a look at it from various perspectives, and I'm very happy that we have them covered today in the event. We have the political perspective from the German side. We have the perspective of the government of Telangana and what is planned and what is going on to attract investments. And of course, we also have the corporate perspectives, so we hear from the companies, and you can see this afternoon in the companies and the operations how you can do and how you can be successful with your business and operations in Telangana. So with that having been said, I would like to thank once again everyone who contributed, and I wish everyone a very interesting and insightful event today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Halusa, for such wonderful thoughts. I would now like to request Consul General of the Federal Republic of Germany in Chennai, Ms. Karen Stoll, to express her views on the efforts made by the German government to promote bilateral exchange between Germany and the region. Can we have another round of applause, please?
Good morning, everybody. Ambassador Lindner, Jayesh Rajan, Mr. Halusa, Ranjit Pratap. There are so many people here in the room, Mohan, Amita, that I don't want to go through the whole list. It is with great pleasure today to participate in today's event that has been organized by Government of Telangana in cooperation with the Indo-German Chamber of Commerce. It is good to be back in Hyderabad. Since we have a long list of speakers, I will keep it rather short. Most of you might know that I'm responsible for Telangana, also for Tamil Nadu, for Andhra Pradesh and Pondicherry. And I must say, in my 4th year in the region, it's a pleasure to work here, and I've become very fond of the people here, and I might be a little bit partial today in my remarks. On Saturday, for instance, I was in Warangal and I met the dignitaries there, but also women entrepreneurs, and I was amazed by the energy and the spirit, and I'm very glad that Germany contributed a little bit to it. It's a partnership with Telangana's VHub and Germany's GIZ. And it's also gratifying to see how business ties are thriving. When I had my first posting in Delhi between 2007 and 2011, as head of the economics department, the quality issue in manufacturing was still an issue. No? So this has evaporated basically completely. Today we are not talking about quality in manufacturing in India anymore. It's a given, and the many partnerships are proof of it. So it's an absolute privilege to witness the vibrant business development in this region. And I can tell you that we are very much aware about the weight that the south of India brings to the table. Many of us participated in the recent Mystic South Summit, and I must say the facts and figures are impressive, and this is particularly true for Hyderabad and Telangana. You have carved out more than a niche in India's economy, and the prospects are bright. Regarding the perspectives of South India in general, they are also positive. We see new markets in the east and the southern hemisphere emerging, and this is already taken into account by many companies. Their operations are global and export orientated. They make in India since a long time, and our business relations are long-standing and very densely knit. Germany is the biggest trade partner in India and the European Union, and an important trading partner also bilaterally. So what we see today in comparison to 10, 15 years ago, business between Germany and India is now a two-way street. Indian companies investing in Germany and German companies investing here in India, and quite a lot of it in the south. I'm convinced that we will see further intensification of bilateral ties, and it is very good that we are contributing to it today. COVID-19 has not changed this, and it will not change it, although physical travel will suffer, and we just witness it, unfortunately, now with the new variant. Nevertheless, we can be very optimistic. There are signs that the economy is bouncing back, and Indo-German relations will continue to thrive. We will address the challenges together, bilaterally and multilaterally. There is a lot of potential, and today we will explore it as far as Telangana is concerned. A very interesting destination for German business indeed. German companies are known for their commitment, and they will stick to it even in times of an economic slump. Today, Germany is one of India's most trusted partners, and we are considering India to become even more important. India can be complicated, but there are numerous success stories, and my impression is that in this part of India, doing business is much easier. Anyway, we have to innovate in a collaborative effort, and German companies bring a lot to the table. Germany is part of a huge European market of 450 million people, even after Brexit. This market is larger than that of the United States. Partnering makes sense for all of us. Global solutions are more and more found here in India. Together, the digitization process is advanced. There is skilled labor available. India's IT sector, in combination with Germany's know-how to apply it to hardware, is a very promising match, and Germany remains a very strong country technologically. So we are an ideal partner for India and Telangana. It goes without saying that we appreciate that India is a democracy and an advocate of a rule-based world. Germany and India are connected on government level, but this is not all. In addition, we have numerous contacts that exist between business, academic, and our civil society. So therefore, we walk into the future on a very solid foundation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Stoll, for such insightful views. I would now like to invite our Principal Secretary, IT and Industries, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, to throw light on the investment opportunities in the state of Telangana. Can we have a round of applause?
Thank you. Thank you very much. His Excellency, the Ambassador, Consul General Mr. Toll, senior representatives from the embassy who have come to participate in this event, Mr. Halusa, Mr. Ranjit Pratap, Mr. Mallikarjun from IGCC, Mr. BVR Mohan Reddy, Ms. Amita Desai, and most importantly, representatives of different German companies who are here today to learn more about the value proposition that is possible in the state of Telangana. Very grateful to you. There are basically three reasons why we wanted to take up this investment meet. Some of you would be aware of it, might have seen news items, news reports, that Telangana continues to receive regular investments from different parts of the globe. We are a very prominent destination of American companies for sure. We have lots of investments from, let us say, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, China. Also good number of investments from countries who are in the Middle East like UAE, etc. But the footprint of European companies in Telangana is limited. Of course, it is growing at a reasonably satisfactory pace. But as compared, let us say, to American presence, Americans have discovered Telangana like anything. But we don't see the same kind of footprint of European companies here. And many interactions with the companies who are here, who are already here. You will actually be listening to three of them, and there are many more. Three German companies, that is. Many other European companies who are here, French companies, British companies. We even have Spanish, a pharma company which is from Spain. We have companies from the Nordic region. We have Swedish companies. We have Danish companies. We have Finnish companies. Whenever I interact with them, their experience has been extremely positive. In fact, they tell us that they had never anticipated that it will be such a smooth affair and it will be such a positive affair. And eventually they all conclude that I wish there were other European companies who also discovered Telangana and who also had a great run the way we have had. And therefore we felt that it is important to create awareness about what our state has to offer, because Telangana, as all of you would know, is a new state. It got created 7 years ago, 7.5 years ago. And not many people are aware about Telangana. Of course, the city of Hyderabad is known, but normally when Indian states are talked about, you use the name of the state. So someone would have shown you a list of 28 states. Obviously, you'll be finding it very easy to recognize, let us say, Gujarat or Maharashtra or Tamil Nadu or Karnataka. But Telangana, because it is new, it is unfamiliar, people pass it over. So we therefore felt that we must conduct a meet, and let us have this meet first by targeting all the companies who are already in India. So it's not that India is unfamiliar to them. They have a presence in India. Some of them are in India for decades altogether. They have understood the complexities and different other layers of doing business in India. And if they see that India is a tremendous opportunity for them, give them a perspective on a second location in India. So let us say you are in Gujarat, but you recognize that Gujarat is in one corner of the country and you are expanding, you need to have a second location. Can that location be Telangana? So the first group is, of course, all of you who are here. The idea is to appeal to you that if your business growth is justifying a second location or a new location, do look at us. I mean, you are free to do your due diligence to look at multiple other states as well, but do give us a chance, do look at us as well. And of course, you are also connected to a network. Your headquarters are in Germany. You may have vendors, you may have suppliers, you may have partners in Germany. You may be attending lots of industry meets and other association meets there. So when you get a chance to recommend India to your colleagues, etc., do again keep us at the top of your mind. If you like what you hear, if you like what you see, and so on. And of course, once we are done with these kind of, and I do hope that this will be a regular interaction. While we have invited all of you here, and I'm glad that you have taken pains to come to Hyderabad, but we would also be making this a regular kind of an interaction. Not that you'll be called to Hyderabad every now and then. Of course, we'll be very happy if you can come here. This is the most livable city in the country. So if you are here, I mean, it'll give you lots of joy. But if you have your association meetings elsewhere also, for instance, Mr. Halusa was telling me the other day that IGCC has its regional meetings and chapter meetings frequently. So whenever you have a chapter meeting, sometimes later in the year, or later in the year meaning next year at other locations, if you give us 30 minutes time, we would also be willing to come and participate and renew this conversation, etc. So this is one group of companies who are already in India, and we would like to kind of make an appeal to them to look at a possibility of the second location. The second part of our strategy is actually to look at companies in Germany who don't have any presence in India as yet. Of course, there are hundreds and hundreds of such companies, so it's a large kind of a catchment. Many of them may not be in India today because of a variety of reasons. For some, maybe the growth opportunities in Europe or whatever other markets they service, that is still there. So they are kind of still looking at expanding further in their own domain. Some of them may be put off by some hearsay that India is a difficult place to do business. It is complicated, and maybe companies don't have a comfortable ride if they come to India. So there could be a variety of reasons, and the best way to address all these misconceptions or doubts, etc., is to have interactions with them in a more face-to-face manner. So Honorable Minister will be joining us in a while. The Minister has agreed that in January we will be actually making a visit to Germany. We'll be spending at least 2 to 3 days for sure. And of course, we'll be taking the guidance of the embassy and the consulate to plan our visit. And we'll of course also be seeking the help of the Indian embassy in Bonn, I guess, or Berlin. I don't know where they are. Berlin. And also the consulates in Munich, Frankfurt, etc., to plan for our trip. But we would like it to be a very focused, targeted trip. We cover maybe 2 cities over those 3 days, meet as many companies, as many associations as possible, and maybe tell to them more about India as a country. And of course, within India, the focus will be on Telangana. The focus will be to speak to them about our state of Telangana. Because frankly speaking, since all of you are doing business in India for years, you would have recognized by now that while we talk about India, it is not just one big country. There are 28 Indias within that big India, and different Indias, these 28 Indias are moving at a different pace. Some of them are extremely progressive. Some of them are very keen to attract global investments. Some of them have very progressive policies, very business-friendly policies. In some state, the gap between what they promise and what they deliver is literally zero. I mean, everything that you hear is actually delivered to you. Sometimes you receive much more than what has been promised. So different Indias are at different pace, and those who live in India now recognize that in the constitution of our country, states also enjoy lots of autonomy. I mean, while there is a national program, for example, there's a national program called Make in India. So that's a great program, and we all kind of subscribe to it. But our federal structure allows the states also to do their own bits, create their own policies, of course aligned with the national policy. But we can have things beyond the national policy also. We can give you something more than what the national policy offers. And when you hear our minister speak in the afternoon, he'll be telling you a number of things about how we have gone much, much beyond these national programs, national policies, etc. So in India, when you, as I said, when you continue to do business here, I'm sure you understand how states are ranked, how states are evaluated, and how it makes sense to bilaterally have discussions at the states level. There is no need anymore now that if you are an overseas investor and if you are looking to invest in India, you have to route your discussions, you have to route your participation only through Government of India or Government of India agencies like Invest India, etc. Of course, Invest India, etc. are great agencies. They are very helpful, they are very supportive, they will guide you properly. But even if you don't go through them, you don't lose out on anything. You are free to directly bilaterally interact with the states. And again, I'm happy to share with you that many companies do that with us. We receive bilateral investment proposals, and obviously the kind of response that they get from us, the kind of professionalism we show in our approach, that really impresses them, and most of these investments eventually materialize for us. So that is the message which I wanted to leave with all of you, that when you look at India, do it in a disaggregated way. I mean, India is 28 Indias. Understand which of those 28 Indias is better aligned with your goals, and of course then work very closely with them. I'm also very happy to share with you that like Invest India, I spoke about Invest India, we have created a similar professional setup which is called Invest Telangana. And Invest Telangana is structured or is organized very differently. So I'll quickly tell you about the structure of Invest Telangana. So in our industrial policy, which is called TS-IPAS and which was introduced about 7 years ago, we identified 14 priority sectors. And for each of those sectors, we have created a wing in our Invest Telangana, and we have appointed director level officers who are all from the private sector, who have all been taken on deputation to the government from the private world. I mean, they are not government employees in that sense. They are people who have 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years experience in that domain, and they have acquired understanding of that domain, and now they have chosen to work for government of Telangana. And each of them, they have their own small team. Some of them have consultancy backing as well, and they are the they are the face of the government when it comes to dealing with investments. So I can give you an example. I mean, you would have seen this very impressive product display, then the collaterals of this Munich-based company called Light Auto. Now, in a short while from now, maybe in another 30 minutes from now, you will witness a very historical announcement which this company is making. So I'll let you wait till then. But the point which I'm making is that this entire investment proposal was closed in just literally about maybe 15 days or so, with the help of our Invest Telangana colleagues, led by our director for automotive, who is also amongst us. So every sector, so we have a director for life sciences, we have a director for electronics, we have a director for aerospace, we have a director for retail, we have a director for logistics, we have a director for food processing, we have a director for textiles, we have a joint director who looks after animation, gaming, etc. Our director for information technology is also sitting here. So this is how Invest Telangana is organized. So if you reach out to us, you can assure that a professional who understands the domain will interact with you, and we give them lots of autonomy, we give them lots of flexibility. They can discuss multiple things and provide government's commitment. It's not a very hierarchical, procedurally complicated system that we follow. Many of the decisions can be taken then and there by the directors, because they understand that if there is something of relevance for the state, we should not pull back on anything. We should just go ahead and make the investors comfortable and give them that sense of welcome and appreciation for the investment that they are going to bring here. So I'm very happy that all of you have come here. We will be interacting with you for the next couple of hours. There will be important speeches by Mr. B.V.R. Mohan Reddy, who till recently was the honorary consul here, and is the executive chairman of a very important, very prominent IT company called Cyient, was also the former president of NASSCOM. He will be telling you about the standard issues which any overseas company first confronts with. For example, is talent available, is skill available? So he will speak about that. Of course, Honorable Minister will be telling you about our industrial policy and what can you expect to get here in Telangana or to receive in Telangana. And of course, the ambassador will be telling you about his perspective on how Indo-German bilateral trade, commerce, other exchanges are getting promoted in the present regime. But most importantly, you will be listening to some company representatives who actually have been doing business in Telangana for a few years now. And most of you have also chosen to participate in site visits, which is again very, very important, because see, we can go on talking for hours altogether. I mean, there's nothing that we can't speak of. But eventually, the proof of whatever we say is that how much of it is happening on the ground. And nothing better than to actually go to companies without any one of us being there, just ask them direct questions, get a sense of understanding of what they get in Telangana, what we not effectively deliver, and then come to your conclusions about how would you rank this state as compared to other 27 states in the country. So once again, a warm welcome to all of you from my behalf also. I will be available throughout till you leave for your site visits. I am available. So at any point in time, if any one of you want to reach out and maybe exchange cards or have some specific questions, etc., even when we are having lunch, I'll be happy to spend time and interact with you. Warm welcome once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving us such essential takeaways. We will now move to a very interesting section, that is the panel discussion on the experiences of German companies in Telangana, which will be moderated by Ms. Amita Desai, Executive Director, Gaute Zentrum. And as a part of the panel discussion, we do have three panelist speakers. Mr. Krishna Swamy Jambunathan, Vice President and Head for ZF Tech Center, India. Mr. Carls Mayer, Managing Director for Void Turbo India, and Mr. Shashidhar Reddy, Managing Director for Shakti Horman. May I now request all the panelists and the moderator to come onto stage, and I will hand over the session to the moderator. Thank you.
Well, a very good morning. Thank you. A very good morning to all of you on the stage and off the stage. It's a wonderful opportunity, I think, for us to, at the investors meet, to talk about why India and Germany. I think that is a basic question, of course, but to move beyond that, because you have made that coming together of India and Germany not only possible but also successful. So I think it is crucial for many people who are looking inward, outward, and back inward again to consider what are the opportunities, what are the roadblocks, how does one deal with it, and of course reach the stage where all the three companies that you represent have reached. So I would like to move immediately into discussion and talk and learn from your experiences and your journey. Maybe you, Krish, if I may start with, since you happen to, and I'll just go line-wise because, you know, I didn't want to go alphabetical or anything like that. Let's just begin. You do represent one company which has had a meteoric growth, and particularly in the recent years. Do tell us a little bit about your journey, about the experiences, how Hyderabad or India has had an impact on this experience?
First, thank you. Hello.
Why don't you use this? This one does work.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thanks for coming again. It's a great honor here. Thanks, Ms. Amita, for asking the question. So we represent ZF. ZF is a company, again, basically on next generation mobility. We clocked about 36 billion last year, and that gives you the scale of the company that we are talking about. Primarily, we are into supporting next generation mobility on the three domains, three segments, on commercial vehicles, passenger vehicles, and industrial divisions. Is it better now? Thank you. Of course, we support on the See, Think and Act and on the technology domains with a focus on electric mobility. Sustainability becomes a key thing, and we have declared in the recent IEA also as 2040 as a time for climate reduction, in our case up to 50%. What we have done in the tech center, let me talk about Hyderabad, is a tech center that we started in 2017 March. It's about 4.5 years. We are already close to 2,300 associates over here. And I would say this growth has been possible because of what we see as a talent and our ability to leverage what we are seeing in the region here. So as we started growing over here, I think it is not a question of a back-end office. It's been all engineering work that has been done here. Moving on to two aspects. When a large corporation like that looks at a city in Hyderabad, we are doing two things. One, we support what is the current business. We also position ourselves for the new business into the area of digital as well as in automotive applications and advanced engineering. So that's how we are balanced to grow this. And I would say the key anchor has been the availability of talent and the support that we are able to get in ramping up.
So the availability of talent is a crucial thing. Is that something that's easily accessible, or does one have to work on it? Are there training programs that you have to introduce? How does that work?
Ms. Amita, there's two things. One, to start initially, Money Hyderabad definitely helps. Okay, there's a pull of the state that helps us to get people. But then once the engine starts running, you see that there are people available who can be trained and much faster. For example, even today we have got a program where people are joining just as we speak. About 60 people of them, 90% are from the state, are joining us today as new starting.
They are
so
from the state.
From the state. So that's how we are able to get that. So the ramp up is there, but initially, yes, you need to get that. Again, the connect with the global team. ZF, through our partner in the past, TRW has been involved with Hyderabad. So that has helped us to attract the talent and have the build the brand name. So that's how I would say that the building and retaining talent is fairly easier here. Thank you.
And that is because of the talent that you find, or it's because of the training that they have come with, or is it the push that they get from the state itself?
Talent is available, definitely. The training helps us to align with our business objectives. That's why the training helps. And definitely the environment plays a big role in retaining that talent.
Lovely. Shashidharji, can I request you to please tell us about your journey? You like the door to the world, right? So tell us a little bit about that.
Good morning, thank you. We started in '94, and it's been a long journey in the state of Telangana. It was erstwhile state of Andhra Pradesh. But the Germans, the Herman company, it's a family-owned company. It's $1 billion plus in terms of turnover. They have about 33 plants across the globe. And they invested into Shakti in 2012. Since then, we have expanded. We have moved from not only the original products, which were commercial doors. We now have a range of industrial doors. We're now getting into perimeter security, the whole host of products that we are bringing to the domestic market. We also do some amount of exports from here. It's limited to places. There are certain products that we make, which the other subsidiaries of Herman do not make. And we substitute, we cater to those markets and those products where there's a demand for such products. Insofar as Hyderabad as a location, Telangana, I think first of all, as companies, what do we look for? We look for physical infrastructure. And I think we have an excellent airport. We have all the connectivity, the ORR, If you look at the metro, so in terms of physical infrastructure, we have extremely good infrastructure here. When it comes to social infrastructure, I think it has, in the last at least 2 decades, I think we have really moved far ahead in terms of having good schools, hospitals, a lot of good residential spaces. So in terms of social infrastructure also, I think we have, Hyderabad is today the place to be in terms of any, if somebody is talking about investing into any place or having a second location, in my opinion, it would be the first choice today. I mean, though of course we are from Hyderabad, so we're probably partial to it, but the fact still remains, if you were to look at, I mean, we do have traffic issues here, but by and far in terms of connectivity and where Hyderabad is located, we're central. Whether it's the south of India, the west of India, and in some parts of the north, we're very well connected. And that's been a major advantage in the business that we're in. Long term, we may look at a facility up in the north, but that's purely in terms of addressing certain areas of the northern market. In terms of labor relationships, I think it's very cordial here. There is abundant talent, both from the workers and in terms of managerial staff. Yes, of course, there are certain areas in terms of skill sets that we all work on. There is always a need for more skilled people. And probably this is one area where I think Germany could help, along with Skill India, that we could have a good training center that could be established here. It would definitely help a lot of engineering companies. 2 years back, if somebody were to say that this could be a Hyderabad or this area could be, India could be an alternate supply chain destination, I think it wasn't possible to even discuss it because China and a lot of other parts of Southeast Asia were far ahead. But I think post-COVID, there's a lot of possibilities, and especially in the engineering side. So I see a lot of potential in this particular area.
So how was it that you actually selected India and particularly Hyderabad as a destination?
In our case, it's a little bit different. We were here before the Hermans came in, so they invested and acquired us in 2012. So, but obviously, what they felt when they came here, when Hermans came to India, they first set up an office in Bombay, and their first destination for manufacturing was actually Pune. And there is a large number of German companies. The German presence is very strong in Pune. But after coming to Hyderabad, I think they feel that there's some companies.
Right.
And Herman is a family-owned company. I think it's called the Mittelstand. I think there are a lot of German companies which are family-owned. And there's a constant, I think Schuko has also invested into a Hyderabad company. I think if one were to look at building materials, I think Telangana is somehow in the forefront of a lot of building material companies.